Hey, Liz.
Hey, Kris.
How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. We're going to dive right in today because this is very much structured for a specific purpose. And what I've done is I've given you the change capacity assessment and you filled it out. And I believe you're sharing your screen right now so everybody can see it. And we're going to go through this in just a minute. But before we do, I just want to take a minute to kind of talk about this idea. I don't know if you've heard of it before. I think we've talked about it before, but fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me how you kind of view those two things? And then I'm going to show you this little slide thing that I found that I think will help us finish that aspect of the discussion up.
I think a fixed mindset is kind of like you see or take what happens to you and you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about it, but not in a nice surrendering sort of way. Like I can only control what I can control. Not like that, but more just like, well, I'm just screwed and I can't do anything about it and life sucks. And that's how I view a fixed mindset. And a growth mindset is like, well, what kind of challenges and opportunities does this present to where I can really shift things and maybe improve my life?
Okay, that's pretty concise. I like it, right? So let's take a look at this slide. And what we're going to go through when we're done with the slide is we're going to go back to our assessment form that we've been through. And we're going to look for different areas where you may have a more fixed or a more growth mindset. And kind of these things can hide a little bit, right? So we kind of can assume that everything we think about is a growth mindset. Like I feel like I have a growth mindset. I accept challenges and I look for opportunities, but it's sneaky sometimes because we may have a growth mindset in some areas and more of a fixed mindset in others. And if we can sort of pinpoint that, sometimes it can help us make a good action plan after that. Yeah. So you've stopped sharing your screen, or are you still sharing? All right, I'll share my screen. So this was the little thing I found, and it kind of says exactly what you said, right? So we're not going to spend a ton of time here, just really as more of a quick read through. Gives up easily, understands failure is a limit of ability, effort is not regarded as fruitful, right? Some of these same things you said, basically, there's not much I can do about it. This is just the way it is, right? Versus maybe it's not, and there's stuff I could do. And so thinking about being inspired by others or learning by training your brain or understanding failure is that acronym, the forever acquiring important lessons, right? So with this in mind, let's go through your assessment and see where you can pinpoint where you feel like your answers reflect a growth mindset and where you think your answers reflect more of a fixed mindset about the situation.
Okay. So I don't mind deviating from my routines and plans if I have to. I had to do that today. I had a client who, after I had worked hard to prepare every single thing for this client and get myself all excited for this meeting, the client was like, actually, I can't meet today. Can we meet a different day? So I had to reschedule not only this meeting, but I had to reschedule all sorts of other tasks that were tied to this meeting that I couldn't do until I had this meeting. And that really irked me, and it really made me feel like, oh, why do I even try? So there's where my fixed mindset is really, comes into play.
Okay.
I'm not easily discouraged by difficulties or failures. I had a very intense difficulty, a couple recently, and I am still crying and moping about it a lot, although I think I'm mourning. So, not to be too harsh, but definitely still feel discouraged, even though I'm still taking the actions to help. I'm taking the right actions. I'm still like, I hate my life.
So but do you feel like that's a fixed mindset or if that's a growth mindset and you just have some feelings about it?
So if I were to look at my actions, I'd be like, that person has a growth mindset.
Okay.
But with how I feel like, no, everything sucks and it's the worst. So
and
I
yet
don't
you
I
act
don't know.
anyways.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. Let's keep going.
Trying my best at work and in my personal life makes a difference. I hope it does. I think it, I mean, I kind of want to do an experiment where I like stop trying so much and see if my life actually gets better. So I'm not sure about this one. No, I really, because I'm so like analytical and I'm like, okay, did I send that email? Okay, did I do every single task perfectly? You know, and I'm like, what if I just stopped? So that for me is like trying my best is to be super analytical and careful. I'm very thorough and double, triple checking my work. But, you know, I also see an opportunity for a different kind of mindset where trying your best is letting it go. So some growth there, maybe mindset. I strive to be a little better through effort and practice, definitely.
Would you classify that as growth or fixed?
Growth.
Okay.
I think. I recognize that challenges and failures are an opportunity for growth. Yes. But well, okay. Yes.
That was a loaded yes. That was great.
Yeah. Well, no, what I was thinking was like, yes, of course. But then I was like, it really sucks when you have like multiple challenges or failures pile on top of each other before you can even like kind of start to help one. Another one is just like, you see kind of like brick walls everywhere and you're just like, oh, okay, I'll go this. Oh no, I guess okay. And you just sort of like, I'll just sit here, I guess.
Yeah. I like this answer of yours a lot because I feel like it's sort of saying like, yeah, I see that failures are an opportunity for growth, but it doesn't always feel that way, right? Like I get it.
No, especially
kind of like
because it's supposed to be like a damn action movie where like one bad guy comes at you at a time. So you take out this guy and then you take out this guy and they just like wait and they're like a video game and then they come at you one at a time. Why can't it be that? No, it has to be like all the bosses are like accumulate. You're like at a level 5 and you have like 3 bosses at a level 35 and you're just like, dude, can we not?
Yeah, well, and even in martial arts movies, right? Like when you watch like the hero guy fight somebody off, there's like a whole circle of them, right? And only 1 or 2 come at him at a time. It's like, come on. There's no way you're winning that way. Not that that's, you shouldn't have to win that way.
Yeah, well, you got to make sure you see the good choreography.
Exactly.
Okay. And then when things don't go as planned, I seek feedback from others to help me succeed. Yes. I mean, I talk with you a lot about things.
Yep.
So I'm and I see that as growth because obviously you want an outside opinion. You do not want to, when you're in your little puddle of shit where you're just like, well, my life sucks and I hate everything and it's only going to get worse from here. An outside opinion from someone who could truly give you a nice objective opinion, not from someone who's going to kind of, not give you great feedback.
Yeah.
That's growth, That's growth.
Right.
Yep.
So let's go a little, not like you and I would probably totally spend 2 hours on this assessment if it was up to us to just go through it, but let's go through a little quicker and let's just go growth, fixed, growth.
In general, I think I can accomplish outcomes that are important to me. Yes, growth.
Okay.
When I'm confronted with a problem, I can usually find solutions. Maybe kind of. So that's more of a fixed. I can express my emotions directly, maturely, and honestly. Yes, I think that's growth. When I'm faced with a stressful situation, I'm able to think about it in a way that helps me stay calm. No, fixed. I can manage my stress and emotions without relying on a particular substance or behaviors to cope. Kinda. I think that, so like to say yes would be growth, to say no, fixed. So it's like I'm in the middle. I know who I am, what I want, what I don't want. So that's interesting. So I think, that's very positive and like, oh yes, you want that, but it also is kind of fixed if it's yes, because you may not even be aware of things that you actually do want.
Okay. Right.
My husband's very much like that. Like, I know what I want, what I like and don't like. The way I'm living reflects my deeper values. Yes.
Yay.
Yay. I connect my goals and my actions towards these goals with deeper purpose. Yes, kind of. I can count on others when I need help. Yes, and that's growth. My surrounding environment promotes positive thoughts and actions around change. Yes, growth. I have a close network of people with common interests, values, and goals. Very small. Yes, kind of.
Small but amazing.
Yes, small but amazing. Growth.
So if we look back just really quickly over sort of the general feeling you get after completing this, do you feel like you generally have a growth mindset or you generally have a fixed mindset?
For me, I want to be like, no, I'm just in the middle. In the middle. But particularly, I've been thinking about this all day.
Oh, really?
Because I've been like, God, I really need to get out of my fixed mindset. I just can't seem to like feel better about my problems and obstacles. I just feel like there's no digging myself out of it. So I was thinking about this all day. So it's interesting.
Oh, that's so funny. Because this is like a totally spontaneous thing. I was like, hey, I'll call Liz and see if she wants to do this with me. Right.
Yeah. So I've been contemplating that I'm in a very fixed mindset as of late over the last like month or something, and thinking, God, I want to be better. I want to be like, what a great opportunity for change.
That's so interesting because I watched you go through this and talk about it. And I heard out of 16 or 18 questions here, I heard probably 12 of them were very heavily on the growth mindset side. And there really were only, in my view, a couple of spots where you feel stuck. And I think that's really interesting that your perception is different. And it's interesting to look at what you brought to the table with your kind of mindset and the challenges that you're facing at the moment and how that affected your view of this survey thing. All I can think of was Animaniacs and would you like to take a survey, which I never saw that one. That word got stuck in my head. And then I was like, the thing we're doing. So when I look back, if you scroll back up to like question 12, and I'm going to pick this one very specifically for a reason because we've been working together a long time.
12. Yeah.
And this one's the one that jumped out at me the most. And it was this: I can manage my stress or emotions without relying on particular substances or behaviors to cope. And we've been working on this for a really long time. So I think it's really interesting that you've kind of splopped yourself right in the middle there, because I can imagine, based on what you said and knowing some of the challenges that you are facing right now, that it's been a really big back and forth battle around not using food to cope with some of these feelings. And also realizing that the food is one of the aspects of the issue that you're trying to change. So it's like this double-edged sword. So I found this answer the most fascinating because you were like, yeah, but no, 5. Yeah. We could spend a whole podcast episode on delving into this question alone.
I really want to cope with my pain with my choice. It's always been like food and stuff. Yeah. No drugs, not really alcohol, not really shopping, just food. Cheese.
Anything creamy, right? So,
So,
again, this might be the next podcast episode, but I think for the sake of what we're trying to do here, I think we've done a good job of looking at what a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset is. I think we've also done a good job of identifying a couple of spots for us to work on going forward around how these very few spots of fixed mindset seem to influence your perception that you have a fixed mindset in general. When actually, if you read through this questionnaire again, and you look at how many answers are above 5, it's most of them. Perception's really tricky though, isn't it? Because the mindset you show up to a thing with can have such a big impact on your intake of the information too. So, well, thanks so much for doing this with me. And, obviously after we stop recording and I use this particular component, we can keep talking. So, awesome.
Awesome.